Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, My So-Called Healthy Life. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I have a couple books in front of me. I'm in my office. I came in here to do a little bit of writing today, and I was going through books of mine that I have on my bookshelf, and my bookshelf is actually like in a closet area, so I don't go there very often unless I'm like wanting to give a book to somebody, and I'm like, oh, I think I have it there, because I have like all of my self-help books and motivational books in my office. That's just where I keep them. And I came across this book called The Wish List by Barbara Ann Kipfer, author of 14,000 Things to Be Happy About. And I was like, I love these list books. Have you guys seen these where it just has like, if you look inside, it just has one thing listed after another? And I'm going to explain to you in a second the purpose of this list. But what was really interesting to me was that this was actually my mom's book. I didn't realize that until I opened it. I thought it was mine. Now, if you come into my office, in my entryway or in my waiting area over there, I have on my table two books. And the first one is 8,789 Words of Wisdom by Barbara Ann Kipfer. No, I'm not promoted by her or sponsoring her, but I just love these books. And you can open them to any page and just read like the words of wisdom. You are never too wise to learn. Remember people's birthdays. Share your sorrow with a friend. No matter what you attain in life, you are still only a person. If at first you do not succeed, try again. Buy comfortable furniture. A drawback to success is that it offers very little time for personal pursuits. All important truths are simple. So those are a couple of them, right? But right next to it I have, and it's funny because I got this at Borders when it was going out of business, 11,002 Things to Be Miserable About. And no, it's not by Barbara Ann Kipfer, it's by Leah Romeo and Nick Romeo. And it's actually very funny, but some of them are not so funny. If you look like, do you see that? It has like a sad face emoji. But like things like chocolate that tastes like wax, pickpockets, farting in elevators, children's books that contain sexual metaphors, sulfuric acid, temperatures at the North Pole. I mean, they're just funny. Careers spoiled by marriages. I mean, some of them are kind of like, ooh, you know. But I put these two out there, and then what's interesting to me is which one people pick up first, right? And it's interesting, like, today, like, when I meet, like, with a tax guy or something like that, and he's sitting there with this one, I'm like, okay, so this is how this meeting's gonna go. I think it's always a good indicator right away to see if somebody's more negative or more positive. But I love these kind of books. I think they're so much fun, and just to kind of have around on tables and all that kind of stuff. And if you want to look at them, I'll list them below. But I wanted to talk about the wish list today because it's really the whole idea of having a bucket list in life. And, you know, for a long time, I really struggled with this idea of having a bucket list of things that you want to do. Like, I was like, well, that's kind of stupid. And, you know, oh, I want to go to see the pyramids in Egypt, and that's never going to happen. So why even put it on a list? Well, you know, I'm also a believer in the law of attraction, and that those things that you want to happen, you have to put that out there in the universe. Like, you have to, like, visualize it and believe it. And I will tell you that as a person that has done that with my life, honestly, okay, the more that I visualize, the more that I put out there in the world really does come true. Like, it really does happen. And so I have really made a purpose, you know, to kind of like bucket list my life. And I haven't actually done it in a couple years. And I talked on here about, a couple weeks ago about dreaming big and making up a list of dreams that you want to achieve. So that brings me to the wish list. And I kind of started flipping through it, and I noticed that some things, like receive an anonymous Valentine from a secret admirer, had a blue asterisk next to it. But then I also noticed that some things had a red check mark next to it, like own a leather coat, embrace the ordinary. And I was like, what is this? I don't remember doing this on my book. And so I went to the front, and at the very front, my mother had written in here, red check mark are things that I have done. A blue asterisk is things I want to do. So she obviously wanted to get an anonymous Valentine's Day card, which I think is rather sweet. And then I went in here and I was reading the instructions for this book. And I'm just going to read this to you, much like we would do our meditations, but I'm going to read it to you today. It's the introduction to this book. How many times have you started a sentence with the words, "In my lifetime, I want to ... Perhaps what you wanted was something grand, like winning a medal for bravery. Maybe it was something modest, even mundane, a wish to change jobs or to climb a tree. Maybe you wished for something fantastic, to be a country music star, for example, or for something utterly practical, like making a budget and sticking to it. Your wish might have taken you to the other side of the world or as far away as the moon, or it might have meant just to walk around the corner. Maybe you wish to do something generous or something just for you. What happened to all those wishes? Where did they go? Wishing is good for us. Daydreams, fantasies, castles in the air, and aspirations all drive us forward, impel us to make things happen. They also tell us a lot about ourselves. Our wishes come straight from our core, and they are loaded with vital information about who we are and who we can become. Keeping track of our wishes helps us to tap into the energy that propels us to go after our happiness. That's what the wish list is for. With close to 6,000 wishes, it is meant to serve as a wellspring of ideas for things to do, have, see, taste, experience, achieve, give, be, learn, do for others, or try just once in this lifetime. Each item completes the sentence, in my lifetime, I want to. The collection ranges from small, easy, realizable goals to grandiose pipe dreams, and everything in between. It works for ages 10 to 100. In fact, the wish list looks a lot like your own hopes and dreams. But I don't mean this list of wishes to be solely revelation. I mean it to be a useful tool, your very own personal to-do list for life. Carry the wish list with you, it's highly portable, and when your creative daydream starts, scribble your own wishes on the blank lines. Check off or underline those wishes you want for yourself. When you've achieved a wish, celebrate the fact with a big red X in the box. As the years go by and the wish list pages become dog-eared and yellow, you will have accumulated a profile of your changing views of happiness, your own evolving values, and your own fulfillments. Not a bad thing to have. And what was really interesting was I looked in here, and my mom had actually, there's so many of these in here. I mean, like one of them is overcome an old fear, and she had written fly, wake up cheerful, spend a luxurious weekend at the Ritz-Carlton, Boston. Those were things she wanted to do. And then she had put a little bookmark in one of them, and she tagged it and wrote down the date, 11/98, and she put, and it was reinvent myself, and then she put in big letters, now, underlined. Can you see this? Now. And I wondered, you know, like, how often do we wait to actually reinvent ourselves? And do our wishes and our dreams and our hopes lead us to be the person that we want to become? We can reinvent ourselves at any moment. You know, we can start wearing different clothes. We can start watching different shows. We can, you know, all of that. But to me, honestly, reinvention is really allowing our true souls. And what I mean by that is like who we are inside, not who we're masked by on the outside by clothing and the friends we have and the career that we have, but truly who our soul is inside and allowing it out, you know? For me, my soul inside is this person that very much, you know, wears red Chuck Taylors and, you know, jeans rolled up to his knees and wades and ponds and wears vintage concert t-shirts and drives around, you know, late at night in the country with music blasting, drinking hot coffee and laughing with my friends and, you know, takes a trip to Vegas on a spontaneous moment and doesn't worry about money and, you know, tries to stay stable financially so that I don't have to worry about money and just enjoys life and tries new foods and wakes up every day cheerful and is the person that, you know, my husband walks into a room and smiles and says, that's my husband. You know, those are the things that that's what my soul is inside. So if I were to reinvent myself, that would be who I would be 100% of the time. And I think it goes very much from wearing the clothes that you want to wear all the way to being the person that you want to be. I think coming up with a wish list of what you want your life to look like is rather important. And so what I'm going to suggest, and I'm going to start doing this too, and I'll check in like in a month and see where we're at, is that every one of us get a notebook and we start writing down our wishes. If you want to purchase this book, it's great. I'm not going to push it on you. You know, there are all kinds of ideas on here, you guys, from touch a moon rock, collect old National Geographics, learn reflexology, spend a weekend with Jean-Paul Belmondo. Oh my God, can you imagine? Is he even still alive? He was the actor in Breathless. Did you ever see that? Spend the weekend at a country inn in the Berkshires, take a dinner cruise out of Palm Beach. You know, I mean, some of them are very simple and some of them are very, very good. Win a spelling bee. Cuddle a lion cub, present the Oscar for Best Picture. My mom put, or get. Exactly. Like, that's on my wish list. And I think, like, you know, it just makes you, like, dream outside of yourself and think bigger about who you want to be. Go get a notebook today. Go find a notebook around the house that you've, like, used for crap and tear out the old pages and write on the cover of it, wish list. I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to just start writing every time I have a wish. I'm going to write it in there, and every time I accomplish that wish, I'm going to, check it off. And I'm going to carry it around with me. I'm going to keep it in my bag that I carry with me, my white backpack that I'm going to carry with me everywhere, and check it, regularly. And so when I'm sitting there, instead of maybe going to social media on my phone, maybe pull out my wish list and go, what are you really doing, Peter, to make these things come true, okay? Maybe this ain't a dress rehearsal. You got one time on earth. If you want to present that Oscar or win that Oscar, what are you doing to make that happen? I am a firm believer, okay, that many of us in this world grow up, I really struggle with the idea that, anybody can do anything. That's not necessarily true. There are a lot of us out there that have obstacles that we will never be able to overcome, okay? There are a lot of us that are stuck in bed because of illnesses for the rest of our lives. There are a lot of us that grew up and are born in places that we do not have the same opportunities, okay? It's not as easy to maybe win an Oscar or become a supermodel or, that kind of stuff. But what is on your wish list that is, that you are able to do? Start doing the small things that you can do, even if it's just I'm bed rested to my bed, I'm going to get out of my house once in the next month. Or, I'm going to make myself my own meal and feel accomplished for once this month. Trying something small, And if you are somebody that is of capacity and can go do these things, and what's holding you back? What's keeping you from really accomplishing and trying your wishes to come true? Because I'm that person. I have all these wishes, but when I look at them, I'm like, I'm not doing shit to make them come true, I never thought that I would get on YouTube and make videos. I was terrified of it. I just thought, who's gonna wanna watch it? Listen, I have the wish, and then I have all of the talk in my ear, right? So the wish was, I wanna be on YouTube. I really wanna be on YouTube. And years before I ever did anything about it, we had a website, we still have a website, my husband and I own, and we do a lot of celebrity interviews, and I literally interviewed every one of my favorite YouTubers, and I always ask them on there, and this is why I always answer this for people that contact me, because I know why they want to know it. And I would always ask them, what camera do you use, how did you get started, what's your secret to success, things like that, because I wanted to do this YouTube thing. It was one of my biggest dreams, one of my biggest wishes, right? And then one day I realized it really wasn't that deep. I just needed to set up the camera and start and get over myself and put the video up. No matter what happened, no matter if I got 1 view or 5 million views. It's nice to get a lot of views, but that's not that important. When I wrote my book, I felt very similar to that. I was like, nobody will read it, it won't get published, whatever. And when I was writing it, that wasn't really what was important. And I can tell you on that last night, when I stood in the driveway with my dog Pee-Pee and I bawled my eyes out and I looked at the moon and I said, Mom, I finished a book. I wrote a book, Mom. It had nothing to do with who was ever going to read that book or what was going to happen to it. It had to do with the fact that I had accomplished my biggest wish. So let's get a notebook. Let's write down, and I'm not crying out of sadness, I'm crying out of joy, honestly, that I actually in my life accomplished my biggest dream, my biggest wish. So let's get a notebook, let's start writing down those wishes, and let's start making them come true today. Any of us can make that happen. Any of us can make all of our wishes come true, or, the majority of them. And once we start with the smallest ones, we can make bigger ones happen. So go get the notebook, and I'm gonna check in sometime next week about where we're at with our wishes and see how things are going, all right? I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.